They might segment these out in a number of different ways. There's no right or wrong. And during this period of time, this is also a good time to take a look at your current estate and not only do a physical inventory, especially hardware, right? To say, what's the longevity of this hardware? Does it make sense for me to upgrade and then only find out that this hardware is going to be out of support within 6 months? This is a conversation we have with our customers all the time. And ultimately, who determines if this hardware is going to be supported, whether it's the physical hardware from the OEMs or the CPUs, is ultimately those vendors themselves. We would love for this to be supported in a long period of time, but ultimately they set those specifications, and the Broadcom Compatibility Guide is really the first place you should go look at, right? To go inventory different infrastructure. And I have a couple of blog posts that shows how you can extract things like firmware, driver information, and then actually use the Broadcom Compatibility Guide's API and basically cross-correlate that. Once you're able to understand that, it's like, the way that you've deployed, does it make sense for you to potentially consolidate, right? This is the perfect time to take a look at your state. How might I have separated the vCenter domains? Maybe there are certain config maximums. One of the questions we get a lot of is like, how many of these VCF instances can I slot under this fleet? And the technical answer is there is no number, because when we look at the fleet, right, we're really looking at a VCF operations, and the config maximums or the metrics it uses is no longer a host clusters or number of instances. It's really the number of objects, right? So things like data stores, clusters, hosts, virtual machines, to the different metrics. So in theory, it can be you can have a single fleet that spans, multi-region deployments, or you might have multiple fleets for things like security compliance purposes. And so this is a good time to kind of take a look at your infrastructure and decide, how best am I organizing this? Whether I'm consolidating or maybe I'm spinning out an organization, how should I think about these configuration piece of it?